Hey, welcome. Today I'm going to read to you a chapter that I wrote in this number one best-selling book called Creative Life Book, Radical Courage: How to Face Fear, Take Bold Action, and Live Unapologetically. It's a number one best-selling book on Amazon in multiple categories in multiple countries, and you can get it on Amazon for $11.11, and the proceeds go to a charity that support single moms. So mine is chapter 29, and it's titled The Courage to Choose Light Over Fear. In a world wired to keep us disconnected, choosing light over fear is a radical act of self-empowerment. And when you do, your story can become the very balm that we all need, creating a ripple effect that has the power to connect with and create change in others. What would you tell your younger self about what it means to have courage? For me, again and again, courage has meant learning to listen inward, especially when everything outside tried to drown it out. The most powerful form of courage has been trusting a deep, quiet whisper, even as others' loud fears swirled all around me. I've always felt everything deeply, intensely, and all at once. Since I was a child, the world has moved through me like a current too strong to hold. By the time I was 12, I already knew I would become either a photographer or a psychologist. I wasn't drawn to those paths by chance. I was trying to understand myself and the world through whatever lens could help me make sense of it all. Photography became my sanctuary. Long before I had language for emotional regulation or spiritual practice, I was using my camera to connect inward, to feel inspired, to quiet the external noise, and to focus on something beautiful. It was instinct, not strategy. It was a mindfulness practice, even when I didn't know to call it that. I built my life around that lens, and for many years I did it alone. Photography became more of a profession than a lifeline. But when I suddenly lost my sister to cancer and then became a mother, something deep inside cracked open. When I was considering having a baby, a maternal mental health psychiatrist gave me a soft clinical no. She told me not to have children because of my mental health history. But I knew my calling to become a mother was true, so I took the leap despite the warnings. What followed was a journey through postpartum psychosis, postpartum anxiety, and navigating new motherhood during a global pandemic. Somewhere in that chaos, something much bigger than my story was deeply activated. I became a conduit for the light I've always known was waiting for me to come back to. That same deep sensitivity that had once overwhelmed me now demanded connection. My heart needed more than solitude, it needed community. Photography was no longer just for me. It became a bridge from isolation to deep self-reflection, from inner clarity to shared healing. What if your sensitivity isn't something to fix, but a compass pointing you towards something more true than what we can sense with our five senses alone? What if your way of seeing, your way of feeling, is a gift the world needs more of? In a world that often feels overcome by shadow, choosing to see light is a radical act. And not just any light, your light, the unique, unshakable light that has always lived beneath the noise, the pressure, the grief, the fear. You wouldn't be reading this if the light wasn't already seeking you. The lens method began to take form during a period of isolation and heightened anxiety. It emerged as the natural extension of everything I had lived, felt, and longed to share. A practice mindful and intentional photography that helps people embody emotional resilience, reconnect with wonder, and heal within a seen and supported community. One participant said it best. The lens space is like a chrysalis, a metamorphosis, a sacred event. I feel this is a defining moment for the world. Everyone is dealing with their great divide. Lens is helping me with that great divide. This is what it means to co-create healing, not just for ourselves, but for each other. To create spaces where it's safe to be seen, heard, inspired, and connected. To remember that what we focus on expands. Our photos can be more than just images. They can be intentional mirrors, testimonies. They are a way to say, I am here. I am still creating. I am still connected to my light. So I'll ask again, what would you tell your younger self about courage? And what if your answer didn't come in the form of words, but in a series of photos? What if the next courageous step is simply choosing to notice the small beauties right in front of you? What if your life is already offering you signs and all that's left is to pay attention? You don't have to be fearless, and you don't have to be a photographer or even think you're good at taking pictures. You can use the camera in your pocket and choose to see light. Because in a world that encourages fear and disconnection, choosing to see light and witness each other is a radical act of courage. Welcome to a movement rooted in depth over dopamine, a creative awakening for those who are done with perpetual distraction and ready to feel, witness, and belong. It's called the lens method. It's a movement for those of us who believe in returning to the light within us over and over, gently, bravely, without apology. Lens stands for light. L, the L in lens stands for light, not just what we see, but how we choose to see. Light represents awareness, perspective, and noticing beauty in the everyday. The E in lens stands for empathy, practicing compassion for yourself and others through reflection, shared stories, and the act of being witnessed. The N stands for now, presence, tuning into the present moment and using photography as a mindfulness tool to slow down and connect. The S stands for storytelling, exploring the inner and outer narratives that shape your life and expressing them through intentional imagery. If this speaks to something inside you, I invite you to begin now, not later, not when it's more convenient, now, exactly as you are. That's why I created See the Light, a simple 5-minute photography guide to help you reconnect with your sense of wonder, one image at a time. It's not about taking perfect photos. It's about slowing down, noticing what's beautiful, and letting that noticing bring you back to yourself. This guide is more than inspiration. It's an invitation, not to take pretty pictures, but to feel more present, grounded, and connected. Because how we choose to see the world shapes how we show up and experience it. The lens method is so much more than a creative photography practice. It's a portal home to yourself, home to your creativity, home to your presence, home to your resilience, home to your worth, home to your light. We don't capture life here. We awaken to it. One image, one breath, one sacred moment at a time. Your light matters. Let it lead. Thank you for listening. Um, I'll read you my bio too here. Carrie Kirkella is an international best-selling author, award-winning photographer, founder of the Lens Method, and CEO of Carrie Kirkella Creative. She empowers adults and teens to use photography as a tool for personal growth and authentic visual storytelling, as well as creating emotionally resonant campaigns for major brands. Through multiple media platforms, she openly shares her mental health journey to inspire others using her lens framework, light, empathy, now storytelling, fostering self-reflection and elevating consciousness through creativity. I will link the guide that I talk about in here below. It's called Seeing Light, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. See you next time.